themselves are called palo. Palo means the form or song style. So the different palos refer to the different styles. The techniques have their own particular names, and I'll familiarize you with a couple of those. The first one is rasqueo or rasqueado. Originally the word was rasqueado, which is the word that describes that kind of technique, which is various ways of hitting the strings or striking the strings with the backs of your nails, of your fingernails. There are many different kinds of techniques, so I won't define it any more than that, but it's basically the way that they play the chords in that very fiery style. So you can have very fast repetitions of striking of the strings. That's all called rasqueado. Over time, they dropped the hard D and it became rasqueo. So whenever I refer to it, I'm going to be saying rasqueo. The second word is going to be picado. The second technique is going to be picado, which just means what a classical player might refer to as I and M technique, of using the first two fingers, I and M, and alternating them basically always in alternation, going back and forth, and never repeating one finger again and again, but always alternating them. And picado is just the name that the Spanish use for that technique, and it's basically the way that you play the melodies in flamenco. Aire. Aire is a very important word to understand, and it just means the feeling. If you were to talk about a flamenco swing or a flamenco feeling, you would always say the aire. And hopefully all flamenco playing has aire. It is kind of a compliment, but it also is sort of the general term for the feeling of flamenco. Compás. The word compás refers to the basic bar or phrase of any palo, of any flamenco rhythm. And so in the tangos that I'm about to play, the compás is in 4/4 and generally consists of 2 bars of 4/4. So let's go to a tango now. I will play you my tangos, and I'll talk more about all that stuff in just a moment. Tangos, again, is in 4/4. And the basic compás, as I talked about before, is very important to understand before you get into playing the melodies. Everything in flamenco falls into the compás, and you must play in compás. That term changes depending on the phrase that you're using. So in tangos, the basic compás consists of basically 8 beats. Some people count it in 4 beats. That's mainly for dancers. But some people do count it in 4. I'm going to count it in 8, and we're going to think of it as a 2-bar phrase. The 2 bars being a call and response, more or less. The first chord being, well, actually, it doesn't matter what the first chord is because it's really a 2-bar phrase and the harmony changes depending. But let's count it together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. Okay? So you can see that often the phrase ends on 3 in the second bar there. And that's just to kind of give you an idea about the phrase in tangos into which all the melodies that I played and all the phrases that I played fall. Okay? Let's talk first about the harmony in flamenco. And to get you really acquainted with the playing of these styles, it's going to be very important that you stay with the voicings that I show you, at least in the beginning. They create the sound of flamenco. And if you were to just read chord names on a page and play them with the correct rhythms, it wouldn't sound like flamenco. So let's take a look at these chords first of all. I'll say something here that I'll probably repeat a little bit throughout the video, which is that the use of the guitar in flamenco is extremely economical. They've devised ways of playing things that allow for very small movement and very powerful effect. So the chord voicings is a good example of that. The first chord that I'm going to show you is the tonic, or the first, or the 1 chord of this key, if we can think of it that way, the A major. And I'm just playing it with a small abbreviated bar with the first finger barring 2 strings, the 4th and the 3rd string, and the second finger playing the 2nd string, the C sharp. So the first finger is fretting the E and A, and the second finger is fretting the C sharp on the 2nd string. And I'll just say that allows you for this 3rd finger to be free here to play the B flat suspension over that, even the B flat and the D over that, and then the open A. The second chord is the B flat chord. And I'll point out that the B flat has 2 open strings that it's using here. We're using the D, the open D string, and the open E string on top. The B flat is just fretting 3 strings, or 3 notes, and that's the B flat on the 5th string on the 1st fret, the B flat on the 3rd string on the 3rd fret, and the D on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret. And again, it allows for very easy movement back to the A, B flat, A. The 3rd chord that I'm going to show you is the C. Commonly would be thought of as a C9. It does have the D on top, and it's a C7 chord using the B flat here. I think you can all see that chord. It's playing the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings there. And again, it's using the open E on top, and that's important. We always hear that E ringing out on top. Okay? Adding a lot of the tonal color and sound for flamenco. The 4th chord I'm going to show you kind of rounds out the phrase, is the D minor. We should all be familiar with the D minor. It's just a basic D minor voicing. I'm playing it with the 4th finger on the D again, showing how, just showing you that I'm borrowing that note from the other voicings, right? The C7 or C9 and the B flat, sharp 11 you can think of it as, and the A, all using the same note here, the A being the only one that doesn't use the D. So the D minor moves easily to the C, to the B flat, and to the A. The other 2 chords that are involved in what I just played, the other 2 harmonic sounds, one of them is F major. It's just a basic F major bar on the 1st fret, triad. Nothing complicated about that. And the second one is not really a chord, but kind of an extension or a lower extension to the B flat. When I use